As a general manager in the National Hockey League, your job is to ice the best team possible while staying under the cap hit. By going for some big players in free agency, sometimes what results in this are some bad contracts being handed out. In this video, we are going to be talking about the worst contract from each NHL team. Without further ado, let's get started on the Anaheim Ducks with none other than Alex Killorn. He's making $6.5 million for the next 2 years. He's 34 years of age, just hasn't been producing how he was in Tampa Bay, but when he was there, and overall just has been regressing.
For the Boston Bruins, we have Elias Lindholm. Listen, he's been really good right now. This contract's just going to age really badly. 7.75 for the next 7 years is a lot of money.
For the Buffalo Sabres, we got Jason Zucker. They signed him this year in free agency to a 1-year deal. He's making $5 million at the age of 32. Hasn't really lived up to that contract. That's why we got him here.
Jonathan Huberdeau might be producing, but he's making 10.5 for the next 7 years. Oh my God, Calgary, that's bad.
For the Carolina Hurricanes, not many bad contracts on this team, but we had to go with Jesperi Kotkaniemi. $4.8 million for the next 6 years. To lock him up for that much, I'm not sure if that was the greatest move from Carolina. Top 3 pick, just hasn't been producing. He's young, so maybe he can make that contract worth it.
Seth Jones at 9.5 for the next 6 years isn't that bad of a contract. It's, again, just really bad for the term. That's what you don't like about most of these deals. But yeah, bad contract for the long term there.
For a guy now, Devin Taves, we have for the Colorado Avalanche. He's a great player, don't get me wrong, but it's just his contract is massive. For the next 7 years, he's making $7.25 million at the age of 30. Maybe not ideal, maybe wanted to get that number a bit lower.
More defensemen here. We have Damon Severson of the Columbus Blue Jackets making $6.25 for the next 7 years. Man, you can see these terms on these contracts are just awful.
For the Dallas Stars, we have Tyler Seguin making $8.8 million for the next 3 years. This contract looked great when he signed it, but now as he's just regressing a little bit more and more, it's just getting worse and worse.
For the Detroit Red Wings, man, they can do nothing right. Signing JT Compher to like a 5-year with $5.1 million. He's got 4 years left on this deal now. This is just a bad contract to hand out in free agency.
For the Edmonton Oilers, we have Darnell Nurse. Try to extend their guy for big money and a lot of term. Don't get me wrong, he's had a solid season this year, but nowhere living up to that $9.25 million AAV.
For Florida, man, they can do almost everything they do is like a good contract, but Sergei Bobrovsky's just making $10 million. So the only reason we picked is just because he's making the most amount of money on the team. So, like, they're a very good team locking up their contracts. That's all this says. If their goaltender's making $10 million and he's a franchise goaltender, they're very good with locking up their guys.
For the Los Angeles Kings, we have Drew Doughty. He has been battling some injuries, but again, that $11 million contract for 3 years is not looking great. He has been great, but he's just regressing a little bit.
And all that, but this contract, again, just term and money is not great. Although Minnesota is going to have a buttload of cap space in a long time. Let's hope they don't hand out more bad contracts, but this one's just not looking great right now.
For the Montreal Canadiens, we have Brendan Gallagher. Again, a contract that looked good when he signed it, but obviously towards the end of the deal is going to age worse and worse. He's making $6.5 million for the next 2 years.
For the Nashville Predators, we have a contract that was just signed in free agency. We got Brady Shea. This one's a massive contract. I just think he's going to age badly and just a long-term bad contract.
Andre Palat is next for the New Jersey Devils. Again, a deal signed in free agency not too long ago. He still has 3 years left on it at $6 million. He just hasn't been performing to his best. He's been battling injuries, so again, it sucks.
Anders Lee's making $6.5 the next 2 years. Honestly, not many bad contracts on this team, but this is one.
For the New York Rangers, we got Mika Zibanejad. Again, before this year, this was probably one of the better contracts in the NHL, but now that this performance this year has been pretty sloppy, we have him in this list.
Claude Giroux's making $6.5 for the next 1 year. Again, this wasn't a bad contract when he signed it. He just regressed a little bit, so yeah, bad contract.
For the Philadelphia Flyers, we have 32-year-old Sean Couturier, the captain. He's making $7.75 million for the next 4 years. Again, it's just that term on the end that messes everything up. That's why we got him here.
Erik Karlsson's making $9.9 for the next 3 years. That's just a massive contract, man. That's probably just going to bite them in the butt, honestly.
Marc-Edouard Vlasic over here, 37 years of age, still making $7 million for the next 2 years. Not much to say there.
Philip Grubauer making $5.9 for the next 2 years. Again, good contract when he signed it, just badly aged over time.
For the St. Louis Blues, we have Colton Parayko. Again, a very solid defenseman, just for the money he's making, not the greatest.
Erik Kernat's making $5.2 for the next 7 years. Let's just see if this contract ages as badly as I think it's going to age. Really solid right now, just not going to age well at the back end of this term.
For the Toronto Maple Leafs, we have Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Once again, Tavares has actually not been doing terrible for his contract. That's why we don't have him up here. It's not a terrible deal, but it's just one that is not great either. Signed in free agency to 3.5 times 4.
Mikhail Sergachev is making $8.5 million for the next 7 years. This is a good contract at the start of it, but again, these contracts are just about aging badly, and that's what's going to end up happening with this one.
Filip Hronek, he got the bag in Vancouver. 8 years times 7.25 million dollars. He's 26. It's just one that's not terrible right now, but we just don't know how well it'll age.
Tomas Hertl's making $6.75 for the next 4 years. Again, Vegas just has so many good contracts. Like, this is their worst contract. Tells you something, right?
For the Washington Capitals, a team that's on fire as of late, we got Pierre-Luc Dubois. Again, that's kind of been the story. This contract hasn't been, living up to the hype as it was signed in Los Angeles. But 8.5 for the next 7 years is hopefully he can live up to that. But right now, it's not looking too great.
And the last one of the video is Nino Niederreiter making $4 million for the next 3 years. Good depth piece, just really high money. So without further ado, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you all so much for the support. We appreciate it over the last few videos. It means a lot to us. We're back posting consistently. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Thank you all for the support again. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.